nothing more frustrating than knowing your hard-earned revenues are slipping away in unpaid receivables. And yet, this is a reality that hits over 85% of business owners worldwide at some point in doing business. Hey, it's Melanie Benson Strick here, America's leading small business optimizer. And this week in our Small Business Optimizer series, we're going to talk about something that is often costing business owners way too much time, way too much energy, and way too much profit. And I've brought a really, really wonderful friend of mine on board to help us understand what we can do as small business owners to optimize one little thing in our business so that this part of our business no longer is an energy drain and costing us massive amounts of money. So I'm bringing on Wolfgang Kovacek, who is an entrepreneur, a producer, a director, a manager, a consultant, and a web and communication executive. And we're going to dive into the topic. Now, let me just say, we could dive into lots of topics with Wolfgang, but today we're going to get into the profit recovery conversation for small business owners. And, you know, one of the things that I think is so profoundly powerful about Wolfgang is this is one of those multifaceted, multidimensional, multi-talented, you know, we could like go on and on and on about all the ways in which Wolfgang is a superstar entrepreneur, but we're just excited to have him here to share a bit about his journey, what's got him where he is here today, and why this is so important for business owners and entrepreneurs. So Wolfgang, so glad you could come on today and help our business owners learn a little trick about their business today.
Thank you, Melanie. That was a wonderful introduction. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm very glad to be on here with you, and I'm ready to answer any question that you might have about profit recovery.
I'm glad you add that part, yeah. Because I could, you know me, I could go on tangents and we could end up talking about the movies you produced and all kinds of things. So, all right, we'll stick to profit recovery today.
Okay, today profit recovery.
Yes, that'll be a whole nother. When you get your big movie out on film, we'll go to the next level.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, before we jump in, where are you from originally, and how long have you been in the U.S.?
The accent that you can still hear is I'm originally from Vienna, Austria, the city of music, and I have been in Los Angeles since 1999.
You know, Vienna is one of those places that's on my dream visitation list, like one of the places I can't wait to go because I've heard it's so extraordinary. So every time I listen to you talk, I get transported back into my atlas of all the places I want to go, and I think, oh, I've got to go to Vienna. So
it's a beautiful city with lots of architecture and art and music and, of course, coffee.
Of course, and one of our favorite subjects, right?
Right.
So is Vienna coffee really all that different than American coffee?
It is.
Yeah?
Yes. When you go in those old traditional Viennese coffee houses, they were actually the ones where a lot of business was done. Because people were sitting in the coffee house for many hours and then they came together to do business.
That's a really cool little piece of culture to be aware of. Well, speaking of business and doing business and being in coffee houses doing business, what got you involved in the profit recovery work that you do?
Good question. Well, I have a background where I was working for 11 years in the financial industry. So I have a financial background, and then I had for 13 years a background in technology, where I had web development, web design, and technology consulting. So the reason why I'm now doing profit recovery, because it's the perfect combination to combine technology and finances. Because what I'm offering is a technology solution that helps the business owner and it impacts their finances in a very positive way.
And let's talk about what profit recovery is, because that's a term that in the optimizing world might make sense. But if you're maybe new to this conversation or you've not heard of profit recovery, let's talk about what that means.
Well, as a business owner, you are either offering a service or a product that you're selling to your clients. Now, when you invoice your clients, you're expecting to get paid in a certain term. So you could have terms of 10 days, 15 days, very often it's 30 days. So if you're not getting paid in 30 days and the clients are very slow in paying you, or sometimes they don't pay you, then we have a technology that recovers those profits that are somewhere out there, but not in your pocket and not in your bank account, but your clients still have your money in their pockets. We are recovering those, your own profits back into your pocket, into your bank account.
Now, I want to just set the stage here for a minute. If you've never had to deal with this, you might think to yourself, oh, that's nice. But if you have ever been in a situation where you have not been able to get a payment out of a client, this is a miracle. Like, this ability to be able to have someone else help you go get those profits that are missing out of your bank account, this could be a lifeline. And I'll just share something that happened for me around this, because I think these are the realities that most business entrepreneurs can't appreciate until it's happened to them, right? Would you agree with me?
That's absolutely, yes.
So, when we had the big banking crisis a few years back, I guess what that was, 2008, early 2009, I got caught up in that. And I had almost $20,000 worth of receivables that I could not get to clear for one crazy reason or another, whether it was, their credit cards had gotten frozen, or there was a mishap with our technology and the invoices didn't clear and nobody caught it fast enough. And it was a really, that's a lot of money for a small business owner, and it was painful. And so here's the other thing, Wolfgang. In my opinion, I don't necessarily want to have to be the bad guy that goes and chases them down, right? Do you ever hear that from your clients? Like, oh my gosh, like, people owe me all this money, but I want to be nice to them because I want them to still do business with me, right?
That's absolutely right. And our technology actually allows you, the business owner, to not be the bad guy, but the good guy. Because your most important asset that you have is your relationship to your client. Because that's really important. Your clients are mostly important to you. And you want to keep that relationship intact. And so if you have a system that allows you to keep the relationship intact without being the bad guy asking for the money, and you have somebody else who does that professionally for you, that's a good solution.
So, I'm a big believer in teams and building systems and being able to leverage other people's expertise to get more done. So what I'm hearing you say, and if I understand this properly, you become a part of the team, if you will, if and when you need someone to go do collections and or follow up with someone on payments that haven't gone through.
Absolutely. Every business owner, and it doesn't matter if you're running your business as a solopreneur, so it's just you and you're wearing all those different hats, or you have a small team or a mid-sized team. If you have a small or mid-sized team, you probably have assigned somebody on your team to accounts receivable, which is the clients that have not paid you yet. Now, we come alongside that person or alongside the solopreneur, and we take care of something that they usually have difficulties with or don't like to do, or there might be an issue that can be solved more efficiently and with much less expense and in less time.
Yeah, and I think, again, having gone through that, and, once in a while, it happens. We have people who don't pay on time or get behind or something's going on, and I do have someone on my team that handles it, but at a certain point, you will run out of your own expertise, and it's nice to be able to turn to someone like yourself and your team who can, that you have some tips and tricks and strategies to get those payments where we might fall short. So I'm just kind of curious if you have a technique or a strategy that a business owner like myself or someone else who has a service or product, what do they need to know to prepare themselves and to not get caught off guard if this was to happen to them, besides hiring you, obviously?
Well, the most important thing is information. Being informed, knowing what kind of solutions are out there is, in my opinion, the most important thing. because I had a business myself for 13 years where I was the owner of my company. I had 8 employees and I was running it. I invoiced my clients. And then one thing that I was not good at was to follow up with them to ask them for the money when they didn't pay me. I was expecting to get paid in 30 days, but sometimes it happened that some of my clients did not pay on time. So because I was servicing my clients and I was out there doing that what I did best, I was falling short on following up with them. And had I known that such a service exists, I would have used it all the time because it would help me a lot in recovering those profits that were out there. So
Yeah,
knowing about it is the most important part.
well, and it's knowledge is power. So if you know how to be resourceful when it comes up, then you have solutions that will save you time, save you money, and
Yes.
make you money, obviously, because you're able to recover, what's missing. So at what point does it make sense for someone to bring you on board to help with the profit recovery process?
That's a good question. I would say once you're noticing that you have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 clients that go late and where you see, okay, that could become an issue if you are not careful, I think that would be the right time to ask the question, what can I do to prevent that from happening? Because if you extrapolate that into the future and you say, well, if I don't do anything about it, then next month there's 2 more and 2 more and 2 more. And at the end of the year, I have suddenly 20 clients that have not yet paid me, and I have accounts receivable of $25,000 that are not in my pocket. So I would say early on, ask the question, what can I do about it? And we have customized solutions that are really customized to your business, to what you do, to your industry, to your amount of clients that you have, and we can really customize something to your needs specifically.
That's good to know because it's not always one shop fits all, one stop fits all. Some people are really solopreneurs who have big ticket items. Some people have lots of little transactions, and some
Yes,
people have a really huge company that has a lot of transactions happening all the time. So knowing that there's different levels and different ways that you can work with a profit recovery specialist like yourself is really valuable. So I want to switch gears a little bit because this is all
okay.
really valuable, and I think knowing that there's ways to recover profit if it comes up is valuable. And I also know that everybody gets to doing this kind of work from different places. There's probably a story behind that. I'm curious, in your own journey as an entrepreneur, what do you think has been one of your biggest challenges?
Funny that you're asking. But one of my largest challenges in my business as a web developer was encountering the fact that I had accounts receivable and I
Mm.
did not know how to deal with it appropriately and properly. So what I did is I kind of, because I, first as a solopreneur and then later on even with employees, I thought my primary responsibility is towards my clients and to make sure that they are properly taken care of. I did a very good job with that. What I was not good at it was following up with them regarding payments.
Mm.
And finding that out actually helped me in order to find this company and to now work with Transworld Systems in order to get the word out that this solution exists for business owners, and I love to help other business owners.
It's funny how we stumble. I have talked to so many people over the years who stumbled into what they're most passionate about because of a problem that they had. And I think it helps us remember that our problems, if we don't run from them or let them take over our life, can actually become catalysts for us to find work that we find even more meaningful, even more fulfilling, and even more financially rewarding. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I guess along this line of questioning, what would you say was a game changer for you as an entrepreneur and as someone who has so many different interests and different things that you've developed over the years? What's been a game changer for you that's helped you enjoy your work more and find more fulfillment along the way?
Well, a game changer for me was when I had 8 employees in my company and I was running it, and realizing at one point that I was not able to keep one or two of those employees because I didn't have enough money coming in on the cash flow side in order to continue to pay the salary for them. And to find out that I was not doing a good job in my follow-up with my clients, the so-called payment follow-up, I would have liked to have a system that accelerates those payments from my clients to me. That was a real game changer for me when I experienced the pain of having to let go of an employee who I love to work with and that I provided a job for many years, and then to have to go to him and to say, I'm sorry, but I can't do that any longer.
Wow, I can
So that
feel that in my gut, like that, oh, that wrenching feeling, like, oh my gosh, because I'm not good at this, I now have to lose something that's so important to me. I mean, what was that
that's right.
like for you? Like, was it emotionally wrenching? Was it, just frustrating? Like, what was that like for you to have to go through that period?
It was emotionally very challenging for me because I have and had a very good relationship with all my employees. I
Mhm.
really liked them. They liked me. I think I was a good boss to them, in the way how I was leading the company. Uh, but then to have to go and to explain, I really love your work. I love what you're doing, but I didn't do a good job and I have to let you go. That was emotionally really taxing for me. And it was something that I think was a transition moment for me where I felt really good now working with this company to provide these services because now I know I can help other business owners that are in exactly that same situation because I know it. I know it. I have felt it. I went through that. So I can really offer that.
Yeah, I think there is a game-changing moment for any business owner who realizes they're not good with the financial side in some way, shape, or form. For you, it was the follow-up. I know because I teach a program called Money DNA Mastery, which is all about changing our money stories and looking at how to really reprogram or recode our way of doing things around money and creating wealth. And one of the things I hear all the time, Wolfgang, is that people have such limiting beliefs about money and such limiting
Yes,
beliefs about what they deserve and what such limited knowledge about money stuff that they end up doing some kind of a self-sabotaging thing like not getting the right systems set up or not having better boundaries or better agreements with their clients. So I'm
that's
just
right.
curious, outside of tapping into this service, in that game-changing moment, was there anything else that you learned about yourself or you implemented that helped you get better at follow-up with your clients around money, I should say?
Well, one thing that I definitely learned is that it's much more difficult if you rely on people, and it's much better to have a system in place that works automated,
Mm,
where you don't have to rely on a person to do their work because there's always something that can come up. Like, for instance, an employee doesn't come in because they have an emergency or that they have to pick them up from school or work doesn't get done because they just didn't have time and didn't get to it and it's at the bottom of the pile, or it's something somebody feels emotionally challenged to make a phone call or write an email to follow up with a client and they really don't want to do it. So if you have a system in place, that was a big learning point for me to find out systems are much better than humans.
So when you say system, because there's a lot of different definitions of a system, you mean technology that can replicate the human's ability to watch if that payment is clearing the bank, right?
Yeah, what I mean with the system is an automatic process that rolls forward or rolls out without having to do the human intervention
Mm-hmm.
apart from the starting point where you say go. And so once you click the button and say go and submit, that process rolls out automatically. And that's the advantage of an automated system that helps a business owner very much.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm thinking back on a client that I worked with a few years ago, and one of his biggest challenges, he had a service-based business, and one of his biggest challenges was that he got checks in the mail or had a credit card that he could process. So if the credit card didn't process, he would have to go chase that business owner down, and it would usually take him weeks to get a new credit card or to get it to clear. And sometimes the check was in the mail from his clients, right? For weeks and weeks and weeks. And he'd be sitting there, he's going backwards. He's going so into the red. And, I used to, ask him why he was managing it that way. And he got so deeply entrenched in it being that way that he couldn't even see that there was a better way to manage his receivables. And so I love this idea of a system, because a system basically produces a consistent result.
That's right, yes. And we can prove the results. We have statistics that we can show how good the system works. But it is really good no matter if it is a non-sufficient check or if it's a credit card that didn't process. I mean, you as a business owner, once you encounter that situation, you're dealing with a client that did not pay you, and you don't have that money in your pocket.
Right.
So you need to find a solution. How do I deal with that? And very often what I found out is business owners don't know what to do. So the solution for them is not to do anything.
Right.
Now, not doing anything about it leads to having to write it off sometime in the future. And that's not a good solution for the business owner.
Right.
So that's where I try to consult.
Yeah, that's a good point. And again, not knowing what to do is one of the biggest paralyzers on the planet, right? It goes back to, if I don't know what to do, I don't do anything. And so not necessarily an optimal strategy for profits. So I like to ask something kind of personal of the business owners and entrepreneurs that I talk to here. And that is, I like to learn a little bit about what keeps you inspired. So I'm wondering if you have a mantra, a quote, or maybe even it was like a piece of advice that you got along the way that helps you stay in optimum performance.
I love that question. That's really a good one. I would say my mantra or my belief is that whatever the day brings, I'm responsible for the outcome. What that means is I am responsible for my actions that I'm setting within this day. But we all know there are circumstances that are happening, life is happening, challenges and obstacles. But then I'm also responsible for my reaction to those obstacles and challenges that are appearing. So if I keep a good attitude about it, then I am actually responsible for the outcome of that day, and I can make every day a winning day. And I can have the attitude, every day is a fantastic day for me. And that's how I live.
I love that. I knew there was a reason why I liked you, Wolfgang. I really like that. Okay, so I have to ask you this, because I know how I would answer this question, but I want to know how you would answer this question. Based on that mantra, that way of seeing the world, has there been a time when you had a really, really bad thing happen or something really crappy, and you kept yourself in that mantra and that energy that helped you create something really positive out of it? I know I'm putting you on the spot for a specific, but maybe there's something in your memory banks that you can pull out there.
I actually can remember a recent transaction where I had very high hopes that this would be closing and that would be a big deal and a big benefit and big financial impact. And then it just did not happen. You know, life happens, and whatever the reasons are, it did not happen. But instead of being really distraught and really depressed or trying to find something to mitigate the pain or get rid of it. I was really having an attitude of, okay, it didn't happen now, it can happen tomorrow. And just continue to have a really positive attitude about it. And it helped me and it helped others. I was actually able to help a business partner of mine in that situation and get him through the situation. And at the end, we were both laughing and smiling and had a good attitude.
Oh, that's cool. I think one of the things that we forget about creating optimal success and optimizing our businesses is that, a big part of what we have to optimize is the way we let our brain function. Like you said, managing our reactions. And, you seem to be one of the happiest, nicest, most genuine people that I've ever met. As a matter of fact, we met in a networking experience, and you meet so many people, and you stand out. And I think it's what makes somebody really magnetic in the world of all the noise and all the people out there, is when you genuinely have someone who knows how to manage their own energy and create great experiences. So thanks for bringing that out in the world. I think it's such a gift you have.
Thanks, Melanie. I found that one of the keys for that is that you really love yourself. Mm-hmm. And when you learn how to love yourself and accept yourself of how you are, you can actually be a light that shines for others.
I love that. And I think a lot, it's funny, I was talking to someone else about this recently, but I think entrepreneurs oftentimes, that's one of our demons, is we're so driven and we see all of our flaws, and we can very easily focus on all the things that aren't working because, of course, we're measured financially by how well we perform. And so it's so easy to fall into that darkness of, I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough, I can't keep up, and just like you said, like coming back to like accepting our weaknesses or accepting the things that we're not yet and just really loving ourselves no matter what. I think that's a really important part. I'm so glad you brought that up. I would almost say that's another piece of coaching advice that we could add to your realm of wisdom today, Wolfgang.
Thanks, Melanie.
Well, and then speaking of that, I want to know what's next for you, because I know you have your hands in a lot of really interesting developments, and you are one of those what I would call very diversified entrepreneurs. So what are you excited about? Like what's getting your passions lit up lately?
Well, one thing that is very interesting that is on the horizon is that I might get involved into a film production that is on the horizon, and it's a full feature film, and I might take on the position of a co-producer, which will allow me to still continue to help all my clients with the accounts receivables, because I can pick and choose the time and how I help my clients. And I love that, because one of the things that I found out is it is so much more effective not to be a salesman, but to be a true consultant to my clients. And once I am acting as a true consultant and having their best interest at my heart, everything is easy, because it's their benefit. I really try to help them, assist them, find out what's the best method how I can help them, and then just offer the services.
I love that. Someone explained that to me many years ago as the trusted advisor concept. That they can turn to you as an advisor, whether it's about your services or someone else, and you really do embody that. And I think, knowing that there's somebody you can trust, that actually puts you at a very high level of credibility and authority in a marketplace. So that's a cool way to look at it. So you've got a film production coming up. Let's talk about something that you showed me that is really cool. It's got me totally excited to do this for myself. I haven't done it yet, but I love this idea. And you have your own app called Ask Wolfgang. It is the coolest freaking thing. I loved it. So let's tell people how they can find you at Ask Wolfgang app, and tell us how that works, and then we'll find out where you're at on the web.
Well, one of the things is that every entrepreneur should do is you need to brand yourself. And so I thought the best way how I can brand myself is in order to have my own mobile app. Everybody runs around and has their smartphone. So whenever I meet a person, what I say is take out your smartphone, and it doesn't matter if it is an iPhone or an Android, and you go to your app store and you simply search for Ask Wolfgang. And then you put in Ask Wolfgang, it comes up, and then you simply download. It's a free app that I'm providing to anybody who is interested, including my clients or prospects or whoever is interested in getting in contact with me. And you can have my app there with information about the business that I'm doing with profit recovery, as well as other private things that I'm sharing. And there's some very interesting articles there and some videos, and that's how I share information with people that are interested to be in contact with me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's so cool. And I really liked how your blog, you post on your blog and it feeds to your app, which to me is brilliant because, again, I'm always looking at how do you optimize the things that you're already doing. Well, that's a great way to have multiple ways that people can tap into something you're already doing, and you're optimizing your visibility that way, which is brilliant. And I have the app on my home page of my iPhone, and I keep looking at it, going, "Oh, what's out? What's Wolfgang talking about today? And what are we? What's he putting out now?" So you're right there in front of me. So it's really good for visibility too, isn't it? That was a method to your madness, wasn't it?
Absolutely,
You want to
yes.
be on everybody's mind, right? And so they can also find you on the web at askwolfgang.com, right?
That's correct, yes.
Great.
AskWolfgang.com.
Good. And I would highly suggest that if you do not have a profit recovery plan in place already, reach out to Wolfgang. Now, if you're outside of the US and Canada, how available are you to help people outside of US and Canada?
I can also help them with the profit recovery part.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain other aspects that are only available in the US.
Okay.
But in total, I'm providing really a solution that is pretty much in certain aspects global, in others only in the US.
Got it. Good. Thanks. I know we have a lot of listeners outside of the US, so I want to make sure they know that they can still reach out to you and that you can guide them. So, one last piece of wisdom or parting thoughts, Wolfgang.
Enjoy your life, enjoy your day, enjoy what you're doing. And I have a little slogan when I'm in networking groups, and I'm imparting that. And if you want, I can share those first 3 lines or sentences with you. Would you like me to
Sure,
do
go
that?
for it.
Okay. I say, yesterday, the pain of slow or non-paying customers. Today, joy, overwhelming joy. and and that is what I bring to my clients. It's overwhelming joy, and that is what I also live my life with. Whoever I meet, I want to bring them joy.
I love that. And you do that so well. Thank you, Wolfgang, so much for coming and sharing some of these strategies and tips around profit recovery, and really just, helping us get to know you, the Wolfgang behind Ask Wolfgang, and what's lighting up your fire and what's getting you excited. And we'll all be watching for your name across the movie theater. What are those called? The little banners.
The credits?
No, where
Oh,
the banners where they advertise the movie. What is that called? Your name's up in lights, and you're on the header next to Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, and there's Wolfgang, the producer of this extraordinary film. See how I'm just creating this picture of reality for you?
I accept that reality.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you, Wolfgang. And hey, I would love to hear from you. What was an aha today? What's your strategy with profit recovery? Is there something you could put into action from today? Because remember, knowledge and inspiration just makes you feel good. And it's the implementation of what you're learning, what you put into action, that actually creates optimum results. So tell us what you can put into action. Tell us what's lit your fire today, and what you've loved about our session today with Wolfgang in the comments below. And I can't wait to hear what's shining for you. So goodbye, everybody, and thanks again, Wolfgang.
Goodbye. Thank you so much, Melanie.